Figure we challenge Steven right out of the gate, make him run up there and grab me. But appreciate everybody coming, and this is obviously an exciting time of the year. You know, we say once January hits, it's baseball season with so much that happens in the preseason, and here we are in the February and got good weather, and so this is an exciting time for all of us. We just finished our 15th consecutive semester with a team GPA of a 3.0, and you know, as coaches, it's always challenging. You know, everybody feels good right now about your team going into the season. So, you know, the older I get, I try to put the measurables in place as to what am I looking for. And it starts with what we do in the classroom and our commitment to our academics. We came off a good summer. We obviously got a lot of talented players returning, and they're working hard. You know, I'm sure the players talked about big goals, and I challenge them. You know, we can't be afraid to put it out there. You know, I think there's power in saying that we're going to win a national championship. And so today's the day to do that. Today's the day to let the world know that's a goal of our program. That's what we believe in. That's what we see happening, and so that's why we're working so hard. We just asked our players to give us 3 team goals and 3 individual goals, and then we total them up, and then we post them in the locker room. We covered them yesterday, and yeah, the number 1 goal, you know, that every player put down was to get to Omaha and win a national championship. So, you know, for me, it's a constant reminder of the blessing I have being at a program where kids really believe it. They honestly believe it. The administration believes it. The fans believe it. I think the rest of the college baseball world believes it. And so I'm very thankful and appreciative that I'm part of a program where, yeah, we feel like we got a legitimate chance to win a national championship. The 3 individual goals that each kid puts down, and we total it, and how many put down All-American or All-ACC, and some put down numbers of low ERAs and high batting averages. And it's important for me to know what these kids are talking about. But the number 1 goal was to be a better teammate, was to help others, was to lead. And so as a coach who's looking for those measurables, what we're doing in the classroom, how hard we're working on the field, I was pleased to see that they know what it takes to win. They know the importance of being together and being a team and trying to help each other along this process. So I was really pleased when that was the most voted on topic of our goal sheet. And so, you know, here we are today. We haven't played a game yet. We haven't played against somebody in the other dugout other than those 2 scrimmages this fall. And so for me, I'm just going to keep pounding the same 3 messages I have been all year. It's 1, stick to the process. 2, let's just focus on getting 1% better every day. And then 3, finish. You know, we want to be finishers. I mean, we want to finish in the classroom. We want to finish with our commitment. I know those that are of the Christian faith, I mean, that's something we challenge ourselves, man. We want to finish the walk that we've started and continue to do God's work. So I think in any area of your life, there's no better way to end it than with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to finish and do this right. So here we are, you know, getting ready to start the 2019 season.
Open it up for you guys. Dan, a pretty wide-ranging question, but I know you want a good balance, strong pitching, good every day, starting 8. What would you say that some of your top strengths are?
Yeah, it's
really the core of the team.
Yeah, for me, it's a good feeling with our depth. You know, at this time last year, we had lost so many players in that 17 draft and that Omaha team, and knew we were, a younger lineup last year and lacked a little experience. And I feel like we're more, and you got to be careful when you say you're like the 17 team, because obviously what that team accomplished. But when I look at the age bracket of this team, it reminds me of the 17 team, that we're super talented in that junior class. We've got that good core senior group, which usually our senior group is small due to the draft. But we have that big, talented junior group. And then we've got a talented sophomore freshman group, which the freshman group got a lot of praise from their ranking as a top 3 or 4 ranked recruiting class in the country. So it reminds me of 17 when all these juniors were freshmen. And so I like our depth. I feel good about our older guys and giving them the nod and trusting they know how to play the game here. But I got plenty of young guys that are going to get to play. They're going to get some at-bats, and they're going to get on the mound. And so position player-wise, I feel really good about our depth. On the mound, there's a saying, you never have enough pitching, so we don't ever want to get too comfortable. And but I know Coach Williams and myself, we feel really good about the options we have on the mound. Weekend starters, midweek starter, who's going to come out of the bullpen, and then obviously we got options for who's going to close.
How set is that pitching lineup? What do you think of the weekend rotation?
I think there's 4 guys that put themselves in the discussion. Nick Bennett, Brian Hoeing, and you got the 2 sophomores, Reed Detmers and Bobby Miller. And so you got 1 senior, a junior, and 2 sophomores that got great experience, have had a lot of success at this level, and that's what makes Coach Williams the best is put those guys in a position to succeed. And what's interesting about probably the 2 righties is you could slide one of the righties to the back end of the bullpen. That and we want to see Hoeing start, and Brian wants to start, but we also know he was really good out of the bullpen last year, really good numbers. If you look at his line from last year, Bobby Miller is super versatile, and with the pitch selection, obviously the talent. We saw Bobby as a weekend starter, had a really good freshman year. But, and that's a compliment to both those guys because they're strong, they're durable, they're clean mechanically, they can bounce back. And so, I think out of those 4, you got your weekend rotation and possibly a guy that could get some time on the back end and maybe experiment with as a closer. And then it's a long year, so it's always hard to think how the weekend season starts is the way it ends, but you never know.
And the way last year ended, a couple of guys, Logan said, it kind of drove the guys in the off season. They want to be, there in Omaha, and when you're not, it kind of helps drive things. Did you see that this off season?
Yeah, we felt it was a lot like 2012. That was, last year was our 7th consecutive regional championship game, and the last time we didn't make a super regional was in 2012, and Arizona beat us up pretty good and went on to win the national championship. I told Garrett when we were walking out of that last press conference, I said, man, I feel like we just walking out of the Arizona press conference. Like Texas Tech put it on us pretty good, and they ended up making it to Omaha and obviously had a great club. And so a lot of similarities to 12. After 12, of course, we went on that 5-year run of 5 straight super regionals and 3 trips to the College World Series. So that's what you hope. You hope that chip on their shoulder, that bitter pill taste in their mouth, the way last season ended, they knew they lost to a better team. So there was no excuse making in that. It just, as you said, you got to work harder. You got to get better. You got to get tougher. We got to make more plays. We got to have better at-bats. We got to make more pitches. So I think everybody collectively was of the mindset, let's be pissed off a little bit, and let's get back to the drawing board. Let's have a great summer, great fall, and hopefully a great spring.
Coach, you said you and the team set the goal of winning a national championship, and the national media seems to think that you guys have a legitimate shot with being ranked in the top 10 in so many polls. How much pressure is there on you to actually attain this goal?
Some people call it pressure. We call it opportunity. Like I said, I'm thankful. For me, it's a blessing. There's almost 300 Division I schools. I can't put a number on how many coaches or programs feel like they have a chance to win a national championship. I'm just awful glad I'm at one of them, that we are one of those schools that we're not afraid to talk about it. We do believe it in our hearts. You're sitting, in a room with Omaha pictures surrounding you. It's something that we shoot for, and it's fun. But as I said, I'll go back to the 3 staple phrases. When we play UConn, there'll be a shirt hanging in the dugout with the number 1 on it. Just we're trying to get win number 1. So the goals are great, and regionals and super regionals and all these things you're trying to accomplish. But, we've done a pretty good job in this program of, as we like to say, be where your feet are. Let's just focus on that first pitch, first inning, first out, and then let's get the second, and then let's play a good inning, and then, we'll take it from there. We'll as I told the team yesterday, and I figured they talked about it, and I was going to talk about it, I would hope after today we probably don't say a whole lot about winning a national championship. I mean, it's fun to talk about it today. It's fun to put it out there to the world, but it's silly for us to keep talking about it. Like I said, let's put it to rest after today, and let's just focus on the 1% better, and we'll run out there and hopefully have a good practice.
We talked to you after the first day of practice. Your message was kind of like, we've got some work to do. Now that you've had a weekend of scrimmages, where do you feel like your team is right now?
Yeah, I'm thankful. Weather's been, knock on wood, pretty good, and we're competing. It's 3 weekends of a preseason, so going into it, you still have a mindset as to where guys are, and because anybody can have a bad 3 weeks. I mean, any hitter can struggle for 7 or 8 scrimmages, and a pitcher has one bad outing in 3 weekends, his ERA is going to be shot. So it's just playing the game. You learn so much from playing the game. The things we do well, running the bases, taking the ball in the dirt, going first to third, and the things we are not doing well, that when they happen in a game, it allows you to teach a whole lot better than just in practice. And we take a lot of pride. I met with Coach Snyder and Coach Vrabel, and I said, hey, I'm always reminded before the season, don't be afraid to play guys in these first 10 to 15 games. Don't try to go into the first weekend with this is the set lineup. These are the guys. It's in stone. That's not fair to the club. It's guys have won the right to start, and they'll run out there and start. But, you got to play well, and you got to be consistent, and I got to give other guys opportunities, and let's be better 15 games from game 1 and 30 games from game 15. And I love learning from playing the game. Now, we still want to win. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to learn a lot in these first 10 to 15 games and really solidify, where this team is at and where certain guys are at.
Dan, what about leadership with this group? You do have a couple of seniors in the mix, and you've got a lot of juniors that have played a lot of games.
Yeah, again, reminding me of 17, a lot of older players, a lot of experience. We say it, the front of the room has to lead the back of the room. The older guys all sit up front, and they've started in the back, and then they got closer, and I look across here, and it's Hoeing, it's Pinkham, it's Romero, it's all the older guys, it's Bennett. They're all sitting up front, and so we feel like the culture, not just in the baseball program, got to give a lot of credit to our university, give a lot of credit to our athletic department. We pride ourselves on really pouring into these student athletes, and one area is we got to help them grow as leaders. We got to teach them how to be leaders. So I feel good. I mean, I don't have any worries about things that are going on, and knowing our coaching staff will do a great job and let these older guys lead and help these younger guys.
What were some of the lessons you think this team learned last season and what they could take into this year, and maybe unique from some of the teams you've had the last few years?
Oh, consistency is such a staple. I mean, that was one of our big words from even the players filling out their goal sheet. How many players? Young players don't know what it's like yet to be inconsistent because they've really never struggled. They dominated to get to this point. Older players, you can take the seniors, you can take the juniors, they go through moments of, struggling, not playing well, not trusting my swing, not trusting where the ball's going to go, doubting myself. And it's inevitable. Most players are going to be inconsistent when you get to college. And so, it's just, this group, how you handled those tough times, how you handled those slumps, how you handle the bad calls, how you handle the heartbreak loss, just helps you grow and mature. And now when you lose on a walk-off, we pick ourselves back up. We come out tomorrow. Hey, let's, so what, now what? Let's control what we can control. And we talk a lot about the controllables and the uncontrollables. So I just think that's maturity, that's toughness, We pounded home toughness last year with the younger group, and hopefully that pays off this year with this group.
One position to ask about, what about catcher? Where do you see that right now? And you've got a couple of guys that I guess you could use. Will you use more than one, obviously?
Yeah, we've always – traditionally we've always used more than one catcher. I mean, I love to play two catchers, love to keep them fresh, keep them healthy, and then I always like to get that third guy in there because it's a lot of wear and tear on the body, and I just like preparing guys, and you could have an injury, and I don't want to ever take a step back, last year Romero was healthy and Zeke was behind coming off the knee injury. This year Zeke's healthy and Romero's behind coming off the arm injury. So, Zeke's that senior glue. You trust him. You know he's going to run out there and catch a good game and give you a chance to win. He's got some talented young guys behind him. This is a really as the reason that freshman group was ranked so high. So, we got Henry Davis and Ben Metzinger, two freshman catchers that are good, that are competing. Man, these kids, they compete, they work hard. So we'll definitely catch two catchers that first weekend, maybe three. We'll see. But like I said, take these first 10 to 15 games and give these guys opportunities. And, Zach Britton's a dual guy, can catch. He's coming off the sports hernia injury, so he's moving a little bit more comfortable in the outfield. But that bat, you got to get his bat in the lineup. So I feel really good. Like I said, when I go back to depth of our team, infield, outfield, and catching, we feel good about the options we have behind the plate.
Devin's gone at second. What's the competition there look like?
That's been Lucas Dunn has had the upper hand. Older guy, versatile guy, can play infield, outfield, super athlete, had a really good summer in New York. He'll go play in the Cape Cod League this summer. And then we've got 4 talented freshman infielders. And not that they're all suited to play second, but all 4 of them are really talented. Like I said, they remind me of the 17 when Fitz and Levy and Wyatt, and they were all freshmen, and I was finding ways to get them in the lineup. These 4 freshmen, I got to get them on the field somehow. Using them the right way and not burning a year of eligibility, but getting them ready to play because of Levy, Fitz, and Wyatt. We prepare to lose those 3 guys, just in their junior year and what they've done so far and what we're hearing from the pro rank. So a sophomore and 4 freshmen, we feel good about our options there.
I mean, after last season, there was obviously the news off the field. I mean, I guess 8 months later, can you elaborate on your decision to stay at Louisville and how that's worked out?
Grateful, thankful. It's blessed. The words that come to mind. We love being here. We obviously love the players. For me, it always started with the players. Man, why would I go coach another group of kids when I got a group of kids right here that are here for the reasons we talked about? And we feel like we got as good a chance as anybody. It was comforting meeting with the administration, from Dr. Bendapudi to Vince Tyree, that, they appreciate what we're doing. They support what we're doing. We're preparing for the future. It was pretty simple. This is what we got going, and we want to keep this thing going. So I was kind of excited to just put that noise behind us and that rumor behind us. And, again, it's flattering. I guess sometimes when you hear the coaches that are being mentioned in these type of situations, but I always just hope that our recruits and our families and our fans just realize how much we love it here and plan to be here as long as they'll have us.
Is that a new combination uniform?
Yeah, I wore this. The kids know I love union up, so anytime we speak at anything like a baseball type function, you got to uni up. So Adidas does a great job with their unis, and we let Vrabel sport this when he spoke at the Kentucky Coaches Convention, and so I said I might as well wear it today and break out one of our, I don't know, what's this, 17 sets now? I can't keep up with our uniforms, but all I know is they only let you take 3 to Omaha. So you got to make the top 3. When you look at our uniforms, for me, I always think we have a major league theme, and we got the pinstripes. I'm a Yankees fan. We got a Yankees logo on our stadium. We got Tino Martinez in history. So I had to get a pinstripe uniform. And then we came out with that uniform in the 13 Super Regionals. I call it the Astros uni, the multicolored stripes across the chest. And maybe that just shows my age, when we say the Astros uni, that was back in the 80s. And Nolan Ryan and the Astros wore that type of uni. And then this one, obviously, I know Allman's smiling like a champ because if you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, this is that uni right there. So I think a lot of our uniforms kind of have a major league theme to them.
Dan, looks like last year Wyatt and Oriente, average-wise, had good years. What do they bring to the table? What do they do? What's their strengths?
Well, we talk about consistent. Those were probably two of the more consistent hitters we had. Great hitters have a great eye. Wyatt, unbelievable walks to strike ratio for a power hitter. For a guy that's going to hit home runs, doubles, knock in a bunch of runs. Oriente is going to move the baseball. He just both those guys are not going to strike out a lot. They're going to put the ball in play. They're going to give you what we call good at bats. We don't live and die off the batting average world. We focus more on quality at bats. And Wyatt had the All-American year. Oriente we trust as a hitter. So those are middle of your lineup type hitters, whether that's 3-4, 4-5, 4-6. Those are two hitters that, again, as a coach, you feel a whole lot better when Fitz and Snyder and Campbell and Levy and Stringer, these guys are older. Man, it's a much more comforting feeling when they're juniors as opposed to freshmen and sophomores. Now, freshmen and sophomores will grow up quick in this program because it is such a long season, but when we talk about those first 10 to 15 games, it's comforting knowing we got those older guys.
You've talked about some of the infield guys and the catchers as freshmen. We've heard a lot about the freshman arms. What do you kind of expect out of that and to work some of those guys in?
Yeah, part of the reason that they're so high in the ranking is, the talented arms. And if Coach Williams has a lot of strengths and has an unbelievable resume, I would argue one of those is, man, he gets freshman pitchers to contribute in a big way. Like they have to. They have to contribute in a big way, whether that's pitching out of the bullpen, being a starter, being a closer, being the midweek guy. You look at our great teams, how many we've had, freshman pitchers have to contribute. So I've really, really liked what I've seen out of that group. You got the righties and Kerry Wright. Jared Poland, is a two-way guy. And Poland's going to hit and pitch like we've got a tradition of two-way guys. Jack Perkins, power right-handed pitcher. Some of the lefties, Carter Lohman, has done a really nice job. Garrett Schmeltz, so Coach Williams will, he's got to teach those young guys how to get ready for a college game, and lots of times it starts running out of the bullpen. The ball just doesn't get handed to you right away to necessarily be a weekend starter. That could happen. Brendan McKay had to run out of the bullpen first, but he worked his way into being a weekend starter as a freshman. Maybe Nick Bennett might be one of the few guys that his first outing, I think, was a start on a weekend. So those young guys are going to help us. They look really good. That'll be a huge, huge piece of our pitching staff.
Ask the players about this, but as a head coach, what's the emotions of opening day for you, and are there any superstitions that you go through on that first day?
I don't, again, fans call them superstitions. Like I said, I think us in the baseball world, we call them winning routines. It's a routine. We like to get in a consistent routine. I don't know. People see me, my friends tease me about all the sunblock I wear. I just, they never let up on that. People think I'm carrying a bucket of balls. I'm not carrying the balls in that bucket. That's got my sunblock, and it's got my pens and my Sharpies and my snacks. I like to eat. For some reason I like to snack on some dark chocolate almonds, or I like to drink my coffee or tea during the game. So I got my routine that I like, and I just got to make sure I get everything in line. It's fun. It's exciting, getting ready to I got to make sure I got my neck towel and ready to fight the sun, my floppy hat for BP, all those good things that and hopefully that routine keeps working.
The schedule, it's highlighted by the UConn game and then the games against the 3 SEC schools. Are there any other games you're looking forward to?
When we talk about our schedule, you always say, okay, there's 30 ACC games, so you're not getting around that. There's going to be 30, 15 at home, 15 on the road. So that's a huge challenge in itself. We average anywhere between 3 and 6 SEC games a year, because we play our rival home and home. We play Vanderbilt in the Battle of the Barrel, and then we play Ole Miss like 2 out of every 3 years. So we play them twice. So I think we've got 5 SEC games, and then you add a top 20 team like UConn. You add the I call them the in-state or cross-state rivals in Indiana, Cincinnati. We like to play just about everybody in state that we can. So for me, I get excited about a lot of them, but I also know I don't even know what time the Saturday game is. Like I'm just thinking of that Friday game versus UConn. And the really good left-handed pitcher they're going to start. And, I'm just focusing on game 1. And then, I do know when we come back February 20th, we got a 14-game homestand. So, you want to make sure people in Louisville know I like to grocery shop. And when I bump them in the grocery store, I don't want them to say, so when's the season start, Coach? Well, we've already played 6 games and – we're in a 14-game homestand. So that's the only reason I know that, because I'm trying to promote that and get that out there. February 20th, 14 games, you get an opportunity to see us play, so come see us early.
With the closer spot, what's the situation looking like for that?
As we mentioned with the 4 starters, maybe, a Bobby Miller, goes to the back end. But, Coach Williams is not dead set. He could spread those 4 starters out if he wants and let those 4 guys roll, because you play at least 4 games a week. That's where you got some talented options. Luke Smith is a junior college transfer. Michael McAveen, we know, has unbelievable talent. Shea Smitty has had a nice career to this point. And then I would never put anything past those talented young arms. And then, to me, Adam Elliott is kind of the sleeper. He's pitched freshman, sophomore year. He was a Cape Cod All-Star on the mound. Just had some back issues and wasn't able to pitch or play all fall. So he still looks good running around the outfield. I just don't want him swinging. We just don't want all that torque and stress on his back, because we think he's so valuable on the mound. So anyway, when the season starts, we never go into that first weekend with a closer that's just going to close 3 games in a row. So that's what I do like about the early part of the season is let's see multiple guys get an opportunity to close. And that's how we knew, well, Brendan McKay, wow, is really special when Zach Birdie had a pulled lat muscle and Zach couldn't close, All-American closer couldn't close. That was probably good for our team to force other guys, force Lincoln Hensman, force Brendan McKay, put other guys in that position, and that just makes your club better.
All right, everybody good? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, everyone.